problem is all inside your head, he said to me. The answer is easy if you take it logically. I'd like to help you in your struggle to be free. There's only 7 steps to stop your taxes. He said it's really not my habit to intrude. Furthermore, I hope my meaning won't be lost or misconstrued. But I'll repeat myself at the risk of being rude. There's only 7 steps to stop your taxes. 7 steps to stop your taxes. You just study the law, Mom. Do not confess, best. There's no need to fear, dear. Just get yourself free. Listen to me, Lee. You don't need to discuss much. To Congress, you write, and get yourself free. Read the guarantee deed. Join the Freedom Plan, stand and spread the word, gird. Just listen to me. Study the law, Pa. Don't you confess best? There's no need to fear, dear. Just get yourself free. He said it grieves me so to see you in such pain. I wish there was something I could do to make you smile again. I said I appreciate that. So would you please explain about the 7 steps? He said, why don't you read up on it tonight? And I believe that by the morning you'll begin to see the light. Then he hung up and I realized that he was probably right. There's only 7 steps to stop your taxes. 7 steps to stop your taxes. Study the law, Mom. Do not confess, best. There's no need to fear, dear. Just get yourself free. Listen to me, Lee. You don't need to discuss much. To Congress, you write, and get yourself free. Read the guarantee deed. Join the Freedom Plan, stand and spread the word, gird. Just listen to me. Study the law, Pa. Don't you confess best? There's no need to fear, dear. Just get yourself free. The problem is all inside your head, he said to me. The answer is easy if you take it logically. I'd like to help you in your struggle to be free. There's only 7 steps to stop your taxes. He said it's really not my habit to intrude. Furthermore, I hope my meaning won't be lost or misconstrued. But I'll repeat myself at the risk of being rude. There's only 7 steps to stop your taxes. 7 steps to stop your taxes. You just study the law, Mom. Do not confess, best. There's no need to fear, dear. Just get yourself free. Listen to me, Lee. You don't need to discuss much. To Congress, you write, and get yourself free. Read the guarantee deed. Join the Freedom Plan, stand and spread the word, gird. Just listen to me. Study the law, Pa. Don't you confess best? There's no need to fear, dear. Just get yourself free. He said it grieves me so to see you in such pain. I wish there was something I could do.
Hello to my freedom and truth-seeking friends. I'm Payman Mutahede, the president of Freedom Law School at freedomlawschool.org. In this presentation, with the cover topic of Tax 2026, like it's 1776. Yes. Declare independence from federal income tax legally and safely. Yes. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has started this, and we're going to talk about why and how to help you stop paying income tax, stop filing 1040 form, and join the national tax strike. What's going on out there? Well, let's look at it. We have the Somalian Day Care fraud that's all over the online, what's going on out there. 2, we have the Epstein cover-up, right? Continues to this day, even after law has been passed by Congress for the DOGE to release the files. The crooks in the FBI and DOJ are still covering up the Epstein files. Then we got about 2 years of Gaza genocide. And 90% of Gaza has been flattened by Israeli 2,000-pound bunkbusters. Close to 100,000 people, we don't know, have already died, many of them on the rubbles. You know, that's a genocide funded by our tax dollars. Then on top of that, the Pentagon for 8 years in a row cannot even be audited. Hundreds of billions are going where we have no idea every single year. On top of that, guess what? All the DOGE audit of the federal government waste and fraud that had been exposed many months ago by Elon Musk, guess what? Most of that was rubber stamped and renewed by the crooked Congress of the United States anyways. The Ukraine war is still going on. Unfortunately, Trump did not stop it. Year after year, we're still funding that war needlessly between these two European countries. Let's not forget, though, before Trump, we had the warp speed gene therapy that started under Trump to get his vaccine out, which wasn't even tested properly. It was not even a vaccine to begin with. They scared us with this, with this 6 feet apart, right? Social distancing, requiring you to get vaccines to many people. Remember all that force they put on American people to control us? And let's not forget the mandate to get that injection, that deathly injection that has murdered untold hundreds of thousands of people across the globe, or maybe more, because they don't tell you the real numbers of people that have been killed by the vaccine, right? And then how about the wokeness, right? Allowing the mutilation of children in the name of, gender affirming care, and having men in women's sports as if they're equal because they just claim that they're equal to women even though they obviously are not. And then when you talk about all this stuff, what they want to do, crack down, censor you, don't let you speak. Our YouTube channel was closed down by YouTube. Why? Because we're telling you the truth that they don't want you to hear. In January 6th, what happened? They put people in prison. Why? Because election fraud, the riggedness of the election, we were exposing, talking about this stuff. Okay. So you see, isn't that enough? Look, this is what led to former representative, now officially becoming soon, Marjorie Greene Taylor, said this: almost every Trump voter I see on X is so fed up, they're planning a 2026 tax revolt, and rightfully so. It's because Americans work their asses off, barely make ends meet, and the government consistently gives their hard-earned tax dollars that you work for to foreign countries, foreign wars, and foreigners the U.S. government has allowed into America, and nothing is given to the Americans. We have nearly $40 trillion with a T in debt, unaffordable health care, unaffordable housing, and a dollar loses value every day. Meanwhile, the government, no matter which party is in charge, screws over Americans. What will it take to put the American people first? That's a good question. That's why we're going to have this national tax strike. I'm going to show you how I join it legally and safely. Hang on. There's more I want to share with you guys about what's happening out there, okay? So Marjorie Taylor Greene adds, this is how angry Americans are, and rightfully so, with nearly $40 trillion in debt and Social Security becoming insolvent in 2033, 7 years from now, okay? Now imagine if millions of Americans did this. Yep. See, look at all these messages, okay, that people are saying, saying, dear IRS, I'm done. I'm opting out, okay? I think it's time for a nationwide tax strike, okay? Millions of Americans refusing to pay taxes that are used to fund scams and foreign wars should wake Washington up. Hodgkin twins say, what are the feds going to do if we all just stop paying taxes? Marjorie Greene Taylor says, tax revolt. Yes. What happens if you don't pay taxes for just 1 year? Yeah, that's all it will take. Yep. The revolution to save America is being organized through a 2026 tax revolt. The whole country should stop paying taxes until the corruption ends. Hit them where it hurts. National tax revolt, which is what Freedom Law School says, tax 2026 like it's 1776. 250 years ago, the founding fathers of America, that generation, declared independence from the crooked king of England, which no longer represented the interest nor protected the rights and freedoms of the American colonists. And it's time we do the same. A national tax strike in America. Okay? Let's go a little bit more what people say. Look at this. Imagine how little we'd actually need to be taxed if it wasn't going to fraud. Man achieves the American dream of working hard and paying taxes for 50 years so he can fund fraudulent Somali day cares. We're not paying a 3% tax for tea way back 250 years ago. Now, we literally pay income tax to criminals protecting sex traffickers like the Epstein billionaires. Okay? And how about that? That stupid wall in Israel that American politicians lick. Okay? And American citizens wondering, why are you going over there, that little tiny little country in the Middle East so far away, and having allegiance to that little tiny country versus allegiance to we, the American people, that you're supposed to work for. We pay taxes for you to work for us, and you worry about that little tiny little country of less than 10 million people and lick their wall? So, yes, it's about time we do something. As Henry David Thoreau said way back then, if 1,000 citizens, he said back in 1800s, were to not pay their tax bills this year, that would not be a violent and bloody measure as it would be to pay them, and enable the state to commit violence and shed innocent blood. This is in fact the definition of a peaceful revolution, if any such is possible. Yes, peaceful revolution, peaceful restoration of our republic, defund that Washington, D.C. swamp of criminality and corruption down to size it was intended by the Founding Fathers in a U.S. Constitution. Yes, that's what we got to do, and they're powerless to stop us if you recognize how we have the power to begin with. This is from the cartoon called A Bug's Life. The bugs here, the grasshoppers, that is the deep state. That's a Congress with all the powerful, moneyed special interests who bought off our congressmen, our government, and presidents, okay, in the last recent decades, okay, and we the people are the ants they're trying to enslave. Check this out, what he's got to say. Okay, here we go.
Who was that ant that stood up to me?
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant. One ant.
Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss, they're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one?
Are you kidding?
Well, how about this?
That's me. One ant for over 30 years haven't filed and paid federal income taxes and openly try to teach American people stop funding the criminals in Washington, D.C. and the people that benefit from robbery of you. They take from you and they divide amongst all the crooks and criminals who funded and got paid for politicians to get elected. But now things are changing because the ants, they consider us all the puny ants. We are waking up and taking back our country and our government. Here we go now. What it says, how about this? How about this, right? What if that's the American people burying them? Too many of us to bury these crooks and criminals and thieves.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
Oh, how about that? It's not about food only. It's about keeping you little slave ant Americans in line. See what's going on? Because we outnumber them. Huge. That is right. They cannot get all of us. There's way too many of us already. I cover this issue in detail at Freedom Law School's website, freedomlawschool.org. You got to go there, take the 7 steps to free yourself of the IRS. Okay, regain your power, freedom. Never again voluntarily pay the Washington, D.C. swamp legally and safely guaranteed. Why? Because there's no law that requires 99% of Americans to file and pay income and payroll taxes. The 7 steps is right there to do it on our website to find out for yourself, verify it for yourself. And here's what. Step 3 is about rising IRS based upon deception. In 1998, IRS admitted there's about 63 million Americans who they expected to file income tax forms, 1040 forms, and they did not. There's not just a claim. That is a fact. Here's IRS's own letter. In 1998, they wrote from Washington, D.C. to the sky, Mr. Dwan Abel in Portland, Oregon. What they say in second paragraph, based on our 1996 tax filing program, we estimate there are approximately 63 million taxpayers, Americans, who have not filed a tax return and initially would appear to have a legal requirement to file. This estimate is based upon data available to this service on the individual master file. Oh, yeah, but guess what, folks? There is no law, as I said, to require you to file income tax. The proof about that is on our website, freedomlawschool.org. Educate yourself. The only people primarily required to pay income tax are who? Citizens and residents of Washington, D.C., not the people of 50 states. If you have income from D.C., you're not paying income tax. You have nothing to do with D.C., you don't owe income tax at all. Verify that at freedomlawschool.org. Now, you do that first, and now you can join the tax track as well, real easy, quick. By going to our website, I'll show you, and go on our website on the right, okay? When you go on the right tab right here, the third item is free yourself from tax withholding. Here it is again, for yourself from tax withholding. They click on that, and that gets you to this page, okay? Now I'm going to take the top of this page. There it is. How to legally stop the withholding of federal income tax from your paycheck, okay? And this package, folks, contains the instructions and documents necessary to, correct your withholding status to exempt. And this process uses a statement of good faith to establish a protected a business record while ensuring your employer processes the W-4 form without any problems. Yep. Now, you got to read these warnings first, okay? The prerequisite is you must petition the Congress first, okay? And you should not use this package unless you have read and understood our petitions, and have already, or within a few days of using this package, have mailed your petition to Congress, which is available on this link right here. I'm not going to go through that right now. In this package, we confront the lawmakers. Look, show me where I got to file income tax, and I will pay my fair share of taxes humbly. If you can show me where I got to do this. Otherwise, you need to stop the crooks in the IRS and DOJ from robbing the American people, making us all poorer. Okay? That is so critical to protect you and your job as an American citizen, to have Congress get rid of all the waste and corruption in the D.C. swamp. Okay? Now, so the petitions, the number one petition is about individual income taxes. And it's important you do this for many reasons, including that your defense down the road, in case IRS comes after you criminally, depends on you proving that you have read and understood the petition to Congress, particularly regarding the individual income tax. And mailing those petitions creates a written record of your understanding of the understanding, and formally invites Congress to correct you if you are wrong, which of course you are right, okay? And if you use this W-4 package without having mailed the petition, you are making a false statement on the addendum. Yes, do that W-4, folks. It's very important. The link is right here to go do petitions for free. Yes, for free. It's your right and your duty to write this petition and send them by certified mail to all three of your congressmen. Now, the lock-in letter risk is something I gotta tell you about, okay? Claiming exempt on your is your legal right, but it may trigger IRS to send a lock-in letter to your employer. Unfortunately, this happens once in a while, okay? This intimidation letter threatens your employer to disregard a W-4 for and withhold tax rate at the maximum single zero rate. Now, IRS can do that even if you don't go exempt, but making exempt perhaps make the risk a little bit higher. And unfortunately, the problem is, if this happens, employers are afraid the IRS will most likely do what the IRS says and steal your money. So we have a separate procedure to challenge the lock-in letters, which is not foolproof. But you must understand this risk does exist. Now, FICA notice, I got to tell you about that, the Social Security Medicare taxes, okay? This W-4 package stops federal income tax withholding, does not stop the Social Security Medicare taxes. Your employer will very likely continue to deduct FICA taxes regardless of your W-4 status, unless you can, of course, persuade them why they are not legally required to take FICA out of your paycheck, and maybe even join a Restore Freedom and Employee Freedom Plan, which would be great if you have a small employer, maybe 5, 50, or 500 employees or less, that you have a relationship with them. You can talk to the owner, put him in touch with us. We can educate your employer, and he can stop stealing from all of your employees of the company, that all, including you, will be free of all FICA and all withholding, no W-4 forms, no W-2 forms, no 1099s. Unfortunately, their CPA and tax attorneys got them believing, you got to do these forms, otherwise we'll be in trouble. So that's the reality we're dealing with that you got to be aware of. Okay, now, let's go over these a little further. Instructions, okay? The instructions, there's two of them. One is paper form, KW4. The other one's online portal, okay? Because companies do it online more and more these days, okay? So if the paperwork is what your employer does, okay, well, we got to see that. So if it's paperwork, then here's a IRS form W4, or you print this page, as well as Freedom Law School addendum, okay? You prepare those. And so I'm going to go over the steps to prepare these documents, which I already have open here. Here is the W-4 form, Employees Withholding Certificate, okay? So now, here, this is the 2026 version of this form. You fill out your information, okay, name, address, and so forth and so on. as you go down on this thing, okay, you can skip step 3 and 4 here and just go below that to exempt from withholding, okay? Right here, the box here, you check that box on the right of that, okay? That's all you do right there. And you sign it here, and then you say here, see the addendum or see the attachment, okay? And when you do that, here is the addendum or attachment to the form W form, okay, which is your statement of good faith certification of exempt status, okay? So here you certify certification of non-tax liability. You say, I've checked the exempt box on this form based on my sincere good faith determination that I've incurred no tax liability for federal income tax under subtitle A of the Internal Revenue Code for the preceding tax year, and I expect to incur no such liability for the current tax year. And the basis of your reliance is what? My certification is based on a legal analysis documented in my justification for congressional investigation of unlawful collection of individual income taxes, which is available upon request. I am incorporating that petition to the Congress by reference into this certificate as a factual and legal basis of my signature. Yes, that's a petition to Congress that we talked about that you should send out right away before or very soon after you do this W-4 exempt package. And here we mention absence of willfulness. I am not a tax protester. I formally petition my Congress members, the authors of the law, to correct my understanding if it is an error, unless and until the legislative branch clarifies that the law cited in my petition apply to me. I must rely on my good faith understanding that I am exempt. Okay, so that's what this is here. And then the other option is, as we talked about, is an online portion. Okay, because many companies, are doing an online thing only, no paper form. Okay, so you log into company's payroll portal, select exempt status, and submit the change. Okay, everything you saw is going to be basically online, but you must afterwards, step 2, perfect the record letter, okay? Because online portal does not allow you to attach required legal addendum. You must immediately mail a physical notice to your company to protect yourself. Yes, by U.S. mail. So here's in the first gold square is the notice of reliance cover letter, and the same to download official IRS W-4 form and the addendum we talked about. So here it is, the first one, the first thing I mentioned, the supplemental documentation for online form W-4 submission. There it is. So basically you said here, look, you don't let me do this thing, online, so I cannot do it properly. I cannot explain the law, what I'm relying upon properly. So I'm here doing it online, on paper, sending it to you, and make this part of my personal records so the whole picture is complete why you are doing what you are doing. So again, W-4 exempt form, it's online, and the addendum, but here you fill it out like last one on paper, and the addendum on paper, and you send them together along with this supplemental documentation for online the form W-4 submission. Okay? So after all this, okay, you got to realize, folks, the best way to have the IRS leave you alone is to stop filing 1040 income tax confession trap forms. The IRS in 2017 stopped going after people who do not file 1040 tax forms, the confession forms, and they're coming after a very, very tiny number of non-filers. 80 million plus non-filers right now. So, bottom line is, if you work for yourself, if you're an independent contractor, if you're an employer, it's very easy. Just stop sending quarterly estimated payments to the IRS. If you're an employer, no more W-4 from your employees. That's right. Don't require them to fill out W-4 forms. No more W-2s to send to the IRS the following year, or 1099 form, or K-1 form. None of these IRS forms at all. Stop stealing from your own employees, and they'll be more loyal to you because you give them the whole paycheck, all of it that they really need to survive and hopefully prosper by you being a good guy and let them have their whole paycheck that they worked hard for. As an employee, which most of you is, I just showed the procedure. Very easy. If you want protection, 100% guarantee, we can protect you at Freedom Law School, but you must go to our website, freedomlawschool.org, and educate yourself about the 7 steps to regain your power and freedom, not pay the DC swamp, legally, safely guaranteed. Click on the 7 steps. The gold, the bar takes you right here. Steps are easy. Follow the law. Absolutely follow the law. We have a brochure here and the video that shows you the law is on your side. The people of 50 states are not required by law to file and pay federal income taxes. Step 2, well, that's the best part. No longer put the rope around your neck as a slave. You are free, not a slave. So stop with the rope around your neck. Don't sign out for them. Do not tell the IRS under oath that you owe the IRS money, because that's how they end up taking your money and put you in prison because you signed that doggone form that you shouldn't have to fill out in the first place. Step 3 is realize IRS is based upon bluff, like I showed you already. Okay? So you realize they're bluff. And step 4, you recognize that IRS is not a big, powerful monster, Godzilla they pretend to be. They're actually a weak little, fireless, toothless lizard. I've beaten, my students beaten. Not one of my students who come to Freedom Law School has ever gone to prison, or had their paycheck or bank account levied by the IRS, or taken home or business, since I've done this for over 24 years to protecting people like you. I'm not in prison, never been there, even though for over 30 years I have not openly not filed the paid income tax and taught Americans like you, and the IRS knows me. I've been under criminal investigation by the IRS back then in 1994, before there was a Freedom Law School even, and continually even to this day. They can look at me all they want. I've not broken no law, because no law requires you and me, the people of the 50 states, to file and pay for income tax to begin with. The details about that is on our website, freedomlawschool.org. Educate yourself, the empowering truth that you'll absolutely love. And remember, folks, you don't have to be a slave, don't have to pay tribute. All you got to do is educate yourself. That is in your hands. If you have a spirit of founding fathers, hang together like we're doing right now in this tax strike, we can be free. We'll be free. We even have an official Restore Freedom plan to join together and guarantee your freedom. So with that, go to freedomlawschool.org now. As you drive around town, play it on your smartphone, listen, watch your road. At lunch or dinner, play it again. This time watch it while you eat, you enjoy your food, and you know the truth. Seek the truth. The truth shall set you free. Join the national tax strike. Stop filing income taxes in 2026 forward, and you will be free, and we the American people as a nation will be free and prosperous, with peace for all of us once again. Our brothers and sisters, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love being with you every week. I love spreading the message of truth and freedom, because the truth is, I believe in live and let live, and love and let love. I love you. I love people. I'm a people guy. You know, let's have fun. Let's smile, love, and hugs, and adventure, and having a good time, peacefully get along, and grow in life like God wants us to be free. But I cannot do it by myself. I want you to have the life you want for you and your family. But the fact is, I cannot do it for you. You have to choose to set aside and get over the ignorance and fear they brainwash us with. That's right. They control us because of our ignorance. We don't know about the Constitution, about our law, about our rights. Okay, here's into Revenue Code. I have the whole federal tax law book here, deciphered, easy to understand, very easy in my videos. You see it at freedomlawschool.org. Once you know the truth, knowledge, and wisdom, if you love the truth really does set you free. So that's how I express my love to each of you. I hope you accept my love and the information, the wisdom, and set yourself and your family free and spread the word. Love the truth. Get it out there. I forgot to tell everybody. Step 7 is, right, love and spread the truth. Every one of you. Be here. America's Paul Revere. Get the truth out. Arm the American people with the law. And we can have America and our families be free once again together if you spread the word, each of us, about tax 2026 like it's 1776. A peaceful restoration rather than a revolution. So with that, we're going to take your questions now, one at a time. If you have a question, put the number on the screen, please. The call number we have every week about topic of freedom, about the national tax strike, or how to be free of the IRS, the slave master, no longer for you. The number to call is 424-552-1299. You press 1 on your telephone keypad, and I will take your question right now. Again, the number to call if you have a question is 424-552-1299, and then you press 1 on your telephone keypad, and I will take your questions next. The first caller is right now from area code 724. 724 area code caller, please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Jeff, online.
Can you be more specific how you heard about us online? How long ago, Jeff?
Yes, I heard from a chat group that I am with in crypto and was educated about your system, and it's fantastic.
Great. I would like you to do us a favor. Contact us about the chat group so that we can be involved, maybe member of the chat group, and educate the rest of them about the truth that they're not slaves. So with that, my friend, thank you for calling. What is your question, Jeff?
Hey, I'm in Pennsylvania, Paymon. First, thank you for what you do. You're absolutely awesome, absolutely incredible. Thank you.
Thank you.
I live in Pennsylvania, and I, of course, want to partake in the not paying the federal income taxes 2026 strike. But because I live in Pennsylvania, am I required to pay state taxes on crypto gains as well as income?
Yes, you do. Where's that state tax chart we have on the state tax, on the FAQ, right? On the educational, right? We have that.
Yeah.
Get help. Let's see, where is that at? On our website, on the website, on the Get Help. Okay, on the Get Help, let's see, on up here, you go down. We go down. Where is it at? Knowledge base. Okay, on the knowledge base on the right side. Okay, that's right, knowledge base. You click on the knowledge base. Okay, that's where it is. That's a helpful little tip. Here we have a lot of information about the states and a lot about the issues. On the left, you see state income taxes, one of the most common issues on the left-hand side. You see that, okay? Click on state income taxes. Okay, open that up. And there you see, here we got a video on the topic. And here's a chart. The states that, can I make it bigger or not? No, can I make it bigger? The chart here shows that, states that you got to pay income tax, you don't. And Pennsylvania is one of them that you do, yes. Because Pennsylvania, remember, America is 50 countries plus one in a union. Every state in America, Pennsylvania, California, Texas, New York, they're all countries in a union, just like France, Germany, and Italy are countries within the European Union. The countries of France, Germany, Pennsylvania, Florida, they all retain all the rights as countries. They have their own constitutions, state constitutions, their own legislature to make laws, their own executive branch headed by a governor and their own Supreme Court. So Pennsylvania chose to have its income tax law be separate and independent of the federal government. So yes, you do have to pay income tax as long as your home is primarily Pennsylvania. But the good news is this: just like Trump, who changed from New York, he changes citizenship from New York to Florida. You can do that too. More and more Americans are voting with their feet, leaving socialist states, communist states, state income tax states like Pennsylvania, New York, Illinois, and California, moving to no state income tax states like Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Nevada, Wyoming, and so forth. So that's the option I recommend you pursue as soon as you can. And if you become one of our Restore Freedom Plan members, we'll help you, guide you through that process correctly and safely as soon as possible for you, so you'll be free completely of the state income tax as well.
Okay, so in that case, would those crypto capital gains taxes and the income tax percentages be the same percentage rates as the federal income taxes?
No. You got to follow the Pennsylvania tax law. What the Pennsylvania law and form says. So I'm not sure what it means the same, because the states always have a much lower tax rate than the federal. So what you said was not correct. The states have their own tax rates, which are significantly lower than the federal tax rate. So as long as you get the numbers calculated, the tax rate is easy to figure out.
Okay. So would I still need to use a CPA then, who would fill out the entire tax form, but yet I just don't send or sign the 1040 to the federal, only submit to the state?
Correct. You need somebody or online all these programs that do a state tax form only to send to state. Some people find it useful, helpful to fill out this federal form, but Pennsylvania, because it does not follow federal form, you do not have to do the federal form. You could use that if you want for your convenience, put those numbers in the state of Pennsylvania tax form, but you don't have to do it that way if you don't want to.
Okay, so there are CPAs that will do just the Pennsylvania state tax form.
All you got to do
just need to research.
is some look. If you want easy way, simple ways, give me the forms on paper myself. Do not send anything to the IRS or state for me. I will do the signing and mailing myself on my own. And then you have a federal and state copy of the tax forms. You only send in the Pennsylvania state income tax form to the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue. You will send nothing to the IRS.
Okay. And lastly is I want to continue being a part of your organization, because your organization is absolutely phenomenal. How can I be a part of your organization? Is it a yearly membership, or is it a percentage of what we pay in taxes to the state? And plus, I'll introduce you to the chat groups that I'm with as well.
Well, here's the beauty of our program. No problem. Here it is, Jeff. The 7 steps that we have to have you be free, okay? The steps are that I mentioned to you. Let me show it to you on our screen, okay? Let's refresh this page one more time. The 7 steps. Step 6 is the Restore Freedom Plan, okay? Restore Freedom Plan is where we take care of you completely 100% with the IRS. States sometimes on a case-by-case membership could be provided at an extra charge. But that's what you do. And the way basically the Restore Freedom Plan works is we do all the work. We pay the attorneys, okay? And we make sure you don't go to prison either, because the petitions that we do, and we take care of you with the lawyers. We protect you 100%. You will not go to prison because you're showing your good faith that you try and follow the law. And we do all the work, like I said. And if they ever take your money by force, the IRS, levy your bank account, paycheck, crypto, okay, then we will reimburse you in full what IRS took from you by force. So you have no risk. You will not lose anything. And that in the membership is only 30% of what you otherwise would have paid the IRS. So if you normally would have paid the IRS, let's say $10,000, your membership would be 30% of that, $3,000, and the remaining $7,000 you get to keep. If you normally would pay the IRS, let's say $100,000, you would not do that. Your membership would be 30% of that, $30,000, and the other $70,000 remainder you get to keep. And step 7 is when you tell other people, you tell people on this chat group, online crypto chat group about us, and we will pay you 50% of the first year membership of the people that you refer to us. If the membership, for example, is $10,000 for the first year, you get half of that, $5,000. If the first year membership of them is $1 million, you get half of that, $500,000. That's how that works, basically.
Okay. And that 30%, would that be for that 1 year, and then the next year would be a starting, and it would become perennial then?
Every year.
Based on the yearly?
Every year. So what you're doing is you're divorcing yourself from the Washington, D.C. swamp emperor in D.C., and you're joining the modern-day version of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, the Founding Fathers' Army of Freedom. Peaceful army. That's what you do when you say, George Washington, Jefferson, Franklin, I'm supporting you guys. Okay? I'm not going to give all this money to the swamp. I'm going to keep it small, most of it myself, 70%, but I'm contributing 30% to you guys to fight for all of us, to restore freedom for me, my children, and my grandchildren. That's what it's about. Every year, that's what you do. You fill out your application. Your membership may go up or down, depending on how much more or less you made, which depends on how much you would have otherwise paid the DC swamp. And 30% of that would be your membership every year.
Okay. Because I know that I've filed every single year, because they use their bullying and their fear tactics, obviously. So if I were to use you moving forward, you just take over all of my income and all that I send to you. You fill it out, and then whatever that would be going to the IRS, you would keep 30%, and that's how it would take care of my membership. Is that correct?
It's easier than that. You go to our website, okay, and on the top center is a sign up, the very top center, sign up. There's a page on that. You click on the sign up, and the Restore Freedom Plan membership calculator is right there. You fill it out.
Okay.
Okay, and it's very simple. I'm going to do one, for example, for 2025. You can choose a year. Okay, 2025 is the most current year most people sign up for. Marital status, married or single, you just select that. Is your joint spouse joining you? Usually yes. And you put your information on there. What's your employment income? I'm going to put on here, for example, in this case, let's say $100,000, okay? And then net business profits. Let's put that, for example, $100,000 also, just for example, okay? Let's suppose federal taxes already paid. Okay, let's suppose, you paid the IRS altogether $10,000. Again, we give you credit for that. Okay? And then children under 16 year age, let's say you have, in this case, one child under 16, okay? And you have any other income, Social Security, capital gains, 401k. Let's suppose no, to make it simple for this one. Well, in this case, you would otherwise pay the DC swamp $23,000. But here, your membership is $7,000, and you would save and keep $16,000 while you're 100% protected.
Okay.
That's how that works.
Okay. Scroll back to the top so you can show me where that is that I click on and fill out, please.
Sure, no problem. When you go to our website, on the top center where it says sign up, it's circled by a rectangle gold bar. At the top center of freedomlawschool.org.
Okay. Sign up. Okay.
Sign up.
Got it.
Okay?
Okay.
Any other questions, Jeff?
No, I appreciate your time and love watching you. And every time you're on, I'm always there watching you, and I always give you the thumbs up like.
Thank you, brother.
Never
I love
miss.
you, Jeff. And listen, guys, this is the time to love everyone you know. Give them the chance, just a chance, for them to choose education, enlightenment, truth, and freedom. They may be afraid, and there probably many of them are, because of ignorance and fear they've drummed into our head for decades. That's okay if they say no to you. That's okay if they say, I'm afraid. That's okay if they roll their eyes. It's okay if they say, oh, I'll be a martyr. That's expected, folks. We've been programmed and lied to. So you are just loving them by saying, look, how about this? Why don't you, the Fast Track Your Success brochure I got here, okay? Or I got another one called Restore Freedom, Follow the Law. On paper version or online version of these, both available, okay? That shows in 12 pages, no law requires 99% of Americans to file and pay income and payroll taxes, and $50,000 if you find anything wrong legally with these conclusions in here. And so here, just take a little time, look at this. I know this really sounds crazy. I know it sounds like really out there, but look, I trust your judgment. You're intelligent, and I really appreciate you taking a look at this. If I'm wrong, please let me know, because I want to make sure I am following the law properly like the brochure says. Thank you. And if you can collect the $50,000, they're wrong, would you please go halves and halves, 50-50 on the cash reward, okay? Because I told you about the reward. If you found that they're wrong, let's split it together. Let's both win, right? So you do that type of thing and talk to as many people, and you'd be surprised. A certain percentage of them will look at this and ask more questions and do more investigation. And in time, just like you, Jeff, will say, yep, I know the truth.
Yeah, I've probably told more than 100 people so far about you, and I'm going to keep telling people too.
Great. Jeff, let me ask you, how long ago did you hear about us?
Probably within 6 months.
See where you haven't joined yet, but in 6 months, your confidence and knowledge has grown. The more you understand, hear the stuff. And they need to go the same process as you. Some people do it a lot quicker. Some people take a lot longer. For me, for example, I went to one meeting one night. I saw it in under 2 hours. I said, that's it. This is what I'm going to do. Now, I did take a little bit more time to double verify it. For example, I didn't know the Fifth Amendment right to be silent. I didn't know such a thing existed until I was told about it at the meeting back in 92. So I went and looked up the Fifth Amendment. What the heck is this thing? And I found the copy of it in my roommate's U.S. history book. And I read it. I said, oh, it does say you have a right to be silent. Then how can we give information on the 1040 form that the IRS can and does use against us to put us in prison? So I verified things for myself, but I knew I was already there, right? So I'm a quick guy. But some people need more time before they're comfortable making a decision. That depends on their personality.
Hey, in your opinion, this looks like it's going to have some traction to it. What is the 2026 nationwide tax strike going to look like, in your opinion? How do you see that playing out? Because you have so much experience with this, and this seems to be something that you've been building your whole career towards, and getting people to really see and illuminate these people to how bad the swamp is. Now that people are standing up, which I love the ant commercial that you showed earlier. It's fantastic. How do you see that playing out moving forward with the tax strike and so many people getting sick of all the fraud with the Minnesota going on, and now we see California is going to become bigger than that, and Ohio coming on board?
What I see is that we're going to contact the biggest podcasters out there in America online. And I believe this time they're going to listen. We contacted a few of them. We're going to contact more of them and say, hey, look, we've been leading this fight for over 30 years. We know how to do it right. We can tell you more about it, how to do it correctly. And once they put us on these platforms and more people hear it and check us out, I think that's going to really do it. Because, you know, 1 ant or 10 ants or 1,000 ants, yeah, no big deal. But when you have, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of millions actively doing it, this thing is just going to snowball. So I think this year will be a big year, because I really believe what happened is that with this all the left woke nonsense of Biden and censorship, all that stuff, election fraud on one end, then Trump, after being out for 4 years, being American first. And unfortunately, he did a lot of good stuff. He did good stuff like immigration situation. He got under control. You got to stop all the DEI and transgender surgeries. A lot of good stuff he did. But he went rather than America first, Israel first. Look, I'm anti-Zionist Jewish, born from Iran myself, who went to 9 years of a Jewish school. And so this is not godly at all per Judaism, any religion, what they're doing out there, genocide in Gaza. And people see that. They say, oh, wait a minute. So they say the left gives us this, the right gives us this, the left lies, the right lies. Well, what choice do I got? I think after all these years of stuff with Biden, they're saying Trump is not really, unfortunately, all that he promised us with Epstein File cover-ups of the billionaires. That's going on openly. I think this is the timing. The stars are this time are lined up. That's my belief. And I hope I'm right, but God knows, really. We're just going to do our best and forget the rest. All right? Any other questions before I go to next callers, Jeff?
Nope, you covered them all. I really appreciate your time. Appreciate what you do, brother.
You're welcome, my friend. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it, brother. We got 3 more callers waiting from area code 208 404 and 504. So 208 caller, please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hey, Payman. It's Boone here. Just heard about you from YouTube. Great material you put out. Thanks so much for what you do. Just about to get into the program right now. Really excited. Question, though, if we've submitted taxes already, if our employer has already submitted taxes earlier in the year, is there any way we can fill out a form and get those taxes back? I think you mentioned there was something on your website where we could do that.
To get that, what's already been withheld or stolen by your employer, given to the IRS, you can do that. I don't recommend it. I don't teach it. Because although sometimes people have success doing that, because the IRS is so incompetent anyways, they process the refund. Sometimes they process nothing. They give you nothing. And on top of that, they may fine you $5,000 for trying to do that. So as a policy, I don't recommend that. Okay, I recommend from here forward, in 2026, stop income tax stealing, withholding from your paycheck by your employer. As a self-employed person or business owner, stop sending quarterly estimated payments to the IRS. No W-4 from your employees, no W-2 for on 1099 for your employees, and stop these IRS forms altogether. Really, that's the safest way to go, because otherwise it'd be too risky.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, yeah, just to get our employer on the train and educated and maybe more open to maybe doing something with the Freedom Protection Plan for the business.
Yes.
What's the best way to walk alongside them?
Well, good. I'm glad you asked about the Employer Freedom Plan, Boone. Your employer, tell me roughly how many employees does it have, and do you know the owner personally or not?
Yeah, I know him personally. He's pretty close to him, and he already agreed to pay me as a 1099 with a W-9, and so we've already made that transition, which is great. I'm really thankful for that. Our operation is pretty small. It's a boutique business, so that's great. But he's got a couple of quite a few operations, and so he could be blessed in a lot of other ways if he went your path.
Yes, and this is not a mega big corporation. Therefore, yes, take him our brochure, our website, and do whatever you can to help educate him. One way I recommend people, if you want to really get someone educated, invite them for lunch or dinner. And pay for the lunch or dinner. Take them to a nice restaurant or bring good food home, have your wife good food. Once you feed somebody, they feel good. They're like your date. Okay? And now you got some time to talk. You say, well, thanks for being here with me. I would like to share some important information. You're going to love your freedom. It's going to save you hundreds of thousands or millions for the rest of your life.
Cool.
And then you put on our first video of our 7 steps. You go there, click and have ready already. There's step 1, right? You go down there. The very first short video, that 10-minute video, you start with that. Okay? And that starts them right there. Then you go to step 2 video, show them about step 2 video, the first video there. And step 3, you show them the short video of all the several steps. Okay? Now, you know the other videos will cover certain questions more, like on law. They can show them that video. They ask about 16th Amendment. There's a video on that. Okay? So, and you have the brochures with you physically to give them, to take home with them, and follow up with them. Follow up, follow up, follow up. Because people, need that love and support by you. Because at first it's like a shock. Like, what? I've been lied to all my life? I've been believing in a lie? Participating, given to a lie and deception? I think I'm a pretty smart guy. How could I have been so deceived all these years and decades? It's a shock. So they'll need your follow-up, and they'll come around. So your employer is no different. Just do that. And tell them about the national tax strike. And tell them about the corruption and waste. You can show this video that's going out there. Say, I don't want my money going to all the thieves, the crooks and criminals. Why would I want to do that, right? Show them there's 80 million non-filers per IRS's best estimate. That's a big important fact, by the way, for all of you to know. Y'all tell people. They think, what? 80 million non-filers? Really? IRS? Their own number said that? Oh, then in that case, I'll be okay, I guess. There's a lot more people out there like me, right? So that's all you got to do.
Where do you find that number?
On step 3.
That number?
Step 3 of the 7 steps, right? You go inside, continue to step 3 of there. You go in there, and you go down, and I have 7 important key information about the IRS, why they cannot get after all of us. Step 1 in there is the number of non-filers is overwhelming to the IRS. In that, when I talk about that a little bit, and then the proof is in that black bar with the white writing. You click on that black bar with the writing, open it up, boom, there it is. It's the letter. It's right there from September 1998 that IRS wrote this person. And this is the only source online that has a copy of this letter available. There were other people who have this on their website. They were closed down by the IRS, not me. So that's where you find that. Look, if you have any questions, people, call us at Freedom Law School, 813-444-4800. We'll be happy to guide you through all this information on our website that's there for you. We would love to hear from you. So we're not like, say, oh, don't call us. Go online like everybody else shoves you on the computer. No, we actually want to build a relationship with you and help you become comfortably secure in your knowledge and be free.
Last question. I mentioned it in the past, but maybe you could touch on it again. I think you mentioned you might be able to connect me with some folks that are trust and asset managers who are familiar with non-filers and how to do asset protection with tax-advantaged, assets and trusts, but with a non-filer.
You don't need that. None of that is necessary. None of those games is necessary for you to be income, payroll, FICA, tax-free. You're free already. Now, for business planning reasons or estate planning, if you want to do those things, fine, go ahead and do that. But you don't need to do any of that stuff at all.
So yes, and that's what I mean, estate planning. And so it's just for generational wealth building and planning like that. So many of those guys operate with both your tax strategy in mind as well as your other strategies. But
those are for filers. Those are for slaves. Hold on. That's all for slaves. Slaves want to play the game of the IRS and reduce those slavery taxes to as low as they can, but pay the games is in this Internal Code Slavery book for you who never owed the French, Russian, Chinese, or Washington, D.C. income tax. It does not apply to you. Egyptian income tax laws don't apply to you at all. Those games you don't need to play at all.
Right. Yep. And I fully agree. But, I still want to do a trust, and I still want to do, your life insurance with your death benefit, and you want to plan those things. But taxes are not a part of the mindset anymore. So do you have professionals that can help with that mindset?
Yes. When you become a member of Freedom Law School Restore Freedom Plan, we have resources, how to get a home loan without a mortgage, no problem. Accounts that understand this stuff and work with you on that. Yes, we do have them. People, that know about it, professionals, insurance agents, other people, like-minded or gold dealers or other. Yes, we have many sources of different professions that we have in our circle of like-minded people, homeopath, naturopath, chiropractors, dentists. Yes, we have all kinds of people in our circle of like mind that we'd be happy to refer to each other and have you work together to restore freedom and support each other as well.
Is that a list online on the website?
No, it's private because we don't want IRS. We don't want to put a list up for the IRS. Would you want to do that? Be on that list for the IRS? As a member, we can put you in touch. No problem.
Okay. So just call in is what you're saying.
Yeah, as a member, we have to put you in touch with another student has a specialist that you're looking for.
Okay. Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, my friend. My pleasure, my friend. Thank you for calling, Boone. All right, we have now 404 area code caller followed by the 504 area code next. 404 area code caller, please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hey, Paymon, am I audible?
Audible?
Okay, you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay.
What's your name?
Yep, this is Ty, and I think I started following your YouTube channel about this time last year.
Okay.
Right around tax season. So I haven't made many strides with that, but I'm glad that your channel popped up again for me. So a few questions. What are your thoughts on the likelihood of being audited by the IRS for somebody who has previously paid taxes and is no longer, well, let me say it this way, somebody who has previously filed taxes and is no longer filing taxes versus somebody who's been a non-filer for a number of years?
Same. 99.9% of the time, IRS will leave you alone. IRS is not that all-knowing, all-seeing God, Godzilla that sees you and says, hey, guys, listen, Charlie, Ty here used to file paying up taxes every year like a good little sheep slave. She stopped. Charlie, let's go, Dave. Let's get Joanne. Okay, let's get Robert. Somebody go out there. Let's team of you. Go after Ty. She just stopped this year being a slave. Go get her. They don't do that. It's all based upon image, that how powerful they are. It's all image. Okay, that they believe they got you because we have your W-2 form from your employer. You made $80,000 last year. We'll get you because we know you made $80,000. Your employer told us so. No, they don't do that. IRS does not use a W-2 and 1099 information to come after non-filers because it's way too expensive for the IRS and the government to come after you. Why? Because you actually don't give up your right to a trial when you don't file a 1040 confession form, okay? Because you have a right to challenge IRS's proposal that they must make first to begin with, and you have a full-blown right to trial and tax court. They have only about 20 U.S. tax court judges for America of over 300 million people, many corporations, trusts, LLCs, foundations, they don't have enough judges. Whereas for a filer, you confess under oath that you owe the IRS money. It's easy because it suckered you with your accountant, CPA, and the media to put a rope around your neck on that 1040 form every year. You used to declare under oath that you owe the IRS money. That's right. That 1040 form is a confession form. When you sign that 1040 form under that, small, the page is to sign here. Sign here on the bottom of the second page. What is that tiny print on the right of sign here? Oh, you ever read that? Did your accountant, CPA, had you read what that little signature line says? Looks like a used car salesman. Sign here, and you don't read the fine print. And this used car salesman did it to you, ripped you off with that fine print that you signed and agreed upon. You say under penalty of perjury, under oath, that everything is true. You owe the IRS on money on line 37. You say the amount you owe. You say the amount that you owe under oath. There's no question. You owe the IRS money because you said it yourself. That's how IRS got you every year. If you were to not file that form anymore, you owe the IRS nothing. In the IRS, will 99+% leave you alone, period, and join the 80+ million Americans who don't file 1040 forms every year. Okay?
Thank you for that explanation. That makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, like they really have us in a stronghold. And that's kind of what my mindset was, where I was thinking, oh my gosh, if I stop, I've been filing all my life.
Mm-hmm.
They have all my returns. And they see me, like you said, a good little slave. So I was afraid that if I stopped, that their auditing flags would go off. But you're right. This is the mindset. And to that point, to what you just pointed out was that small fine print at the lower part of our 1040. What I always found so baffling, and I have this conversation with friends every year, with doing taxes. If you give your taxes to 5 different people to file your taxes, you will get 5 different numbers.
Exactly.
So what is the true number?
Exactly.
And this is why it makes so much sense. There is no true number.
As long as you fill out that form under oath, you swear to it, they got you. Because when you saw that form, now you can go to prison for up to 9 years. That's right, 3 separate crimes they can put you in prison for because you signed that form under oath. If you don't sign the 1040 form, at most they can put you in prison for 1 year, but even that 1 year you will not go to prison for not filing a 1040 form because our petitions to Congress that you can download and mail for free to your Congress members shows that you are sincere, you're willing to pay your fair share of taxes. You just ask your congressman to show you where your petitions are wrong, which are based upon the law as published by Congress, U.S. Treasury regulations, and Supreme Court decisions. That's it. You pay the tax if they show you wrong, and the law is quoted and attached in your petitions. When they do not show you wrong, clearly, obviously, you're right. So you cannot go to prison at all. You have zero risk of going to prison. Whereas every you sign those forms for every single 1040, you risk going to prison for up to 9 years. For 5 years, that means they can put you in prison for 45 years. Practically a life sentence. Because your accountant, CPA, tax attorney deceived you. He will deceive you to believe signing the 1040 is a safe way to go. Just like your doctor, nurse was deceived to deceive you that take the corona jab, so-called vaccine. That's a safe way for you to not to die from the corona. It's the same thing. Okay?
Love it. One more question.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts, Payman, on this current administration's tax plan? So it seems like with, the so-called Big Beautiful Bill and going from the internal revenue, what is it? I don't even know what's the internal revenue service to the external. It seems like they're trying to unburden us with taxes, but with a lot of what's been going on, I feel like there's going to be a lot of gotcha moments. Do you still feel like, again, don't rely on the current system, become empowered and learn the truth?
What Trump Big Beautiful Bill was no different than what all these presidents in the last decades have signed. Same thing. They always spend more money because Congress is swamp and their big moneyed interests that own them, the banks, the powerful Zionists, the oil companies, the pharmaceuticals, the military industrial security complex, all these people with money to buy off the politicians and more. They work for them, not us, the American people. So it's just another thing. The label, Big Beautiful Bill. It had a few good things in there, like about increasing border patrol, but had all kind of terrible stuff, okay? Like borrowing all this record amounts of money, would put us in, our children and more in debt. You cannot just keep printing money and don't eventually pay the price for that, with inflation coming for our children and our grandchildren. So, no, it's not a big, beautiful bill. It was an ugly bill, which is why the best congressman in Congress, Thomas Massey of Kentucky, the modern-day Ron Paul, he said, no, you do the same thing as previous decades. You're just kicking the can down the road of eventually, look, we're going to cut out the waste and corruption. So, no, I don't think it was anything special about it. Okay?
Makes sense. Same thing, different outfit, different day.
That's
same
right.
thing, though.
You got it.
Thanks.
You're welcome. My pleasure, Ty. Okay, we have a 504 caller coming next, followed by the 510 area code caller. 407 area code caller, please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hey, Payman. My name's Jake. I heard about Freedom Law School through my dad and my brother, and I think they found out about you through YouTube. So my one and only question is, how do you recommend going about primary residence loans and real estate loans for, like, building new construction houses and holding long-term rentals and that sort of thing? Because I'm in construction, and that's what I would like to do for my career. And I've called a whole bunch of different loan officers, and they're telling me I need to send in my filing from the IRS in order for them to approve me for any loans. So I've just been kind of stuck.
Are you talking about your primary house or for commercial investing or construction loans? What kind of real estate are you speaking about?
Well, really all three. But if you want to touch on primary residence first, that's fine.
Okay. First of all, Jake, it's a good thing you called me, because right now is not the time to buy real estate. It's time to sell real estate. It's not the time to build. Because our phony money system, the Federal Reserve banking system, is privately owned by the big banks in America. Bank of America, City Chase, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, they own the New York Federal Reserve, the head of the beast, privately owned cartel. And our money system is by banks making loans of literally fraudulent money made out of thin air, same as if you go to the garage and print some money out and loan it out. That's what we got. That's our system of money. Because our system, these inflation and recession cycles are inevitable, will happen again every so many years or so. I learned about that in my 1981 Economics 101 class in university before I knew all this stuff about income tax. And I'm telling you, it's here. I predicted the 1991 recession. I saw the one in the early 80s, You know, and I was taught that in my college under Carter, late 70s, stagflation, early 80s, on the Reagan recession. Then we had another recession in the early 90s, okay, under Bush. And then we had all the way up to prices went up from 93 all the way up to 2006. Prices plateaued. 07 started going down. 08, crash. The Great Depression in 08 you all saw. I predicted that, not exact timing, but when market was at the top, I knew it was near as coming. Follow real estate prices. That tells you about where we're in a cycle. We're at the top right now. Prices of real estate have been, for the last 2 years, pretty much flat. Okay, up and down a little bit, especially with inflation. They're actually going down a little bit when you count inflation into that. So we got not much time left, maybe 6 months, maybe 2 years before the crash comes. So you definitely don't want to be in real estate.
I agree with, and I agree with what you're saying. Right now may not be the best time to buy real estate, but that doesn't mean there's not deals out there, and it doesn't mean you can't do it because people are doing it all over. And for me, that I plan on being a builder and that being my career, starting off as residential, then moving into commercial. So I need to start somewhere. So just how would you go about getting a real estate loan without providing federal income tax filing?
I have a video on this topic. If you go under our website, under educational plans, on the educational tab, on the FAQ, frequently asked questions. You click on that, and these are frequently asked questions people ask of us, okay? And you scroll down. One of the first things I have on there, let's see, is about this question: how to buy a home without a 1040 income tax confession form. Where is that? We got a number of these questions, guys. Remember these frequently asked questions, number them, okay? It's like easier to tell people about them. Let's see, we have it about, let's see, go down a little bit. Where is that? I have a video exactly on this topic. You got to go down like about 10 of them. Here we go. How to buy a home without a tax return. So you got to watch this video, first of all, and I go over to more detail. Okay? I can tell you that whole video right now in a few-minute conversation.
Okay.
That video is a much longer, more detailed video. But I will give you a quick answer. Okay? There are independent mortgage lenders that do that. Look for them online. Look for them. You can also hard money lender, okay, or soft money lenders on Craigslist, on Facebook Marketplace. Okay, look them online. If you type those things in the search engine, I'm looking for lenders with no tax returns, lenders with stated income, lenders with bank deposits only. That's a very common form. They take your bank deposits. Let's suppose you made $100,000. They say, okay, we'll lend you up to 30% of that $100,000, which is $30,000 a year mortgage. That's typically what happens in most offices. You got to look for those guys that are there all over America. But again, you're right. 95+% of the lenders out there don't know how to do that. They don't. But there are experienced lenders that specialize and do that. You just got to find those guys, because those guys do not get the money from the bank. Those monies come from pension funds, insurance companies, and very rich people. They don't want to put the money in the bank and get too little for it. They don't want to risk the stock market. They don't want to put it in the bonds. Corporate or government bonds make the puny amounts. So what they do is say, you know what? I got $50 million. I got $400 million. This pension fund or mortgage company. So we're going to put that money and give this mortgage lender, go lend it out to these people without tax return. That's fine. They put down a little bit more. Maybe they pay a little bit more interest also, but I'm going to get now 7%, 8%, 9%. It's not a huge tax return, but it's not the puny 2-3% you get the banks either, okay, or bonds. So I got a decent, safe rate of return. They're out there. You just got to look for them online. Okay?
So I've seen that. So I'll start with hard money lenders first. I've seen that. I've talked to a lot of them. Their rates are, from what I've seen, and maybe I'm not talking to the right people, but they're significantly higher.
Okay.
Like 10, 11, 12% interest.
Correct. Correct.
And that just seems like almost at that point, And not that I don't agree with Freedom Law School at all, but almost at that point, financially, it makes more sense for me if I'm doing a large quantity of these new construction builds and rentals. It almost makes more sense for me to just pay my federal income tax and get the lower loan.
Maybe that's what you decide. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I cannot tell you about your situation. You can make that determination. But think about this, okay? It's a matter of principle in part. It's a matter of how much you willing to go that way, because you will pay one way or another. How much you're going to make more by having to make all the money and sell it and take a risk of going to prison with a 1040 form signed under penalty of perjury, or not paying income tax, save your money doing that. But I'll tell you something else. Right now, that question doesn't apply, Jake. Really, your question doesn't apply right now, because now is the top of the market like 06. If it was 06, would you say, oh, Paymon, the 2006, 2007, I'm going to go into building houses. What would you tell yourself? That now you know what happened in April 08 with the crash. You tell yourself, oh, no, don't do it. Go buy gold, go buy silver, go buy Bitcoin. Well, back then there was no Bitcoin, and wait for it to go up. And then when it crashes, then you build, then you buy cheap. Now you're king because you got lots of money. Look at gold. Okay, I've been telling people to buy gold for years. Okay? 2 years ago, gold was only about $2,000 an ounce or less. Now it's about $4,500. How have I been telling people to buy gold? People are not listening. How about silver? Silver was about $20, $25 a couple years ago. Now it's about $75. Yeah? Well, so you want to buy, if you got anything you want to do, buy gold, silver, Bitcoin. Those are top three. You want to get a little more risky, maybe get a little bit of Ethereum, crypto, maybe a little XRP. I happen to like those ones. You might like other ones perhaps. But those three, gold, silver, Bitcoin, are the big three. Do that and sit and kick back and relax. It's 2006, Jake. Why would you build a house in 2006? Or by the time you get funding, it'll be 2007, 2008. Right? You already been halfway building it in 2008. Oh, it's crashed. The house, everything I bought is not worth that much. So it's up to you. I'm just taking your common sense. This is not the time to build. By that time, you bought houses on foreclosure so cheap. You don't need to be in a building mode. You don't need to take over houses that were foreclosed upon cheap. That's what you want to do. That's the better way to go, my friend. So that's my sage advice to you. Anything else before I go next caller from 510, Jake?
Oh, no, I'm good. Thank you.
You're welcome, my friend. The timing always makes a difference. And my background is in economics, by the way. I was in early 80s, went to college, studied economics, finance. Now I did as a junior and senior, about 6 months, I did the real estate loans, mortgage home loans. I did that. In the 83 recession, when fixed interest rates were 14, 15%. I sold zero, but I learned about the business, learned about the money in my economics, finance classes, and all that, and all decades of learning more practically. This stuff is not just something I came up with yesterday, guys. I'm an economist, okay, my side passion. Politics, economics, were my passion back, when I was in my 20s. So this is going to happen. So I hope all you guys are listening. Tell your family, friends, coworkers, buy gold, silver, Bitcoin out of real estate, out of stocks also. You want to be caught with your pants down like an April 08 crash of the Great Depression? None of us knows the exact moment that will come up. But prices are going down. Look online. Florida housing prices are going down. Look it up. Right? How much they've gone over the last year. Okay, California. Look at the price of Zillow of places last couple of the charts. They used to go up for years. Now, last couple of 3 years, prices are like being same place. Right? That's the sign of the Great Depression coming up. So with that, let's go next caller. Area code 510 caller. Are you alive, my friend? Give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hey, Pema, it's Andrew from California. Heard about you on several different platforms, but the latest one is Mike Team.
Good.
So I think last time you said you were working on a case about the lock letter. There's nothing you can do about lock letters?
IRS is locking letters. Yeah, I like letters when the IRS tells the employer to steal your money, maximum single zero rate on the, and to force you to file to get some of that money back. Besides leaving that job, retiring, be an independent contractor, start your own business, get another job. No, I'm afraid there's nothing we can immediately do, and that's what IRS is doing, that illegal process and intimidating employers. So that is the reality of the situation. That's why we're planning and in the process of getting these lawsuits filed very soon. We got the lawsuits pretty much ready to go. I got to find an attorney that, will actually can, in that court, is licensed to practice. So I'm working on that process. Do you have a lock there right now, Andrew, or no?
Yeah, I did. I did email it into you guys. It's sort of the language was saying they may determine that I was not eligible to be exempt. I made myself exempt through a click of a box to an electronic site that we have,
when?
W2 site. So
when did you do that?
I did that back in 24.
Okay.
About mid-24, I stopped. I exempt myself, so I haven't been paying any federal since 2024.
Good.
And I just got this letter that says it has my social security number in there and everything. And it says may be determined to not be eligible for exempt status. And if determined that I'm not eligible, then they'll proceed with a lock-in letter to lock in the maximum amount, I guess.
Right, it's a threat letter. Sometimes they follow up with that letter, sometimes they don't.
Yeah. So we're waiting on that case of yours to see where we go.
And that will take a while to go to the court, of course, But yes, I wish I was a magician. I could just buy a wand to make him go away, but I cannot lie to you guys. People expect me to give them magic number and answers. I don't. I'm honest with you guys. Okay, I got to be honest. Number one, before anything else. So that's where it's at right now. So we're gonna continue fighting. I've been doing this for over 30 years, brother. So I'm not gonna quit on you or quit fighting these guys. It just takes so much work and expense and time to get all this stuff done right. But I feel very good about this lawsuit we got coming up.
Okay, so let's say worst case scenario, right? They lock in with the employer, and I work for the state, by the way. They lock in with the employer and taking out the max amount of taxes. Should I still not sign the 1040 form?
I wouldn't
take the loss.
I would take the loss. I would not put the personally. I would not put the rope around my neck. That's my personal choice. Some people say, "Hey, I really need the money bad." Well, you don't want to sign, get some of the money back. That's on you. But if they do that, I understand why. But that's what that situation is.
I'm more inclined to do the former, which is just don't file.
If that happens,
don't commit to it, and then leave. Leave as soon as they can to get out of that situation.
Yeah. Look for other jobs if you can. You're an intelligent guy, Andrew, and you could get. What do you do for the state? What kind of position do you have?
I'm a supervisor here.
What kind of a department you get? What part of the state? All functions.
Department of Transportation.
Okay.
I don't want to narrow it down on the radio.
No, that's okay. I don't ask. That's why I ask you more specifically. Look, if I was you. You live in Oakland, California, area 5, I know expensive. I would get you're middle class up there. Government jobs are middle class up there in California because, as you well know, in California, government employees get paid well. Okay? I would, as soon as possible, start looking for a job similar to yours in other states, especially Florida, Tennessee, Texas, if you like warmer weather, like cooler weather, New Hampshire or Wyoming, or I think South Dakota. So look for those no state income tax states, and they're believe me or not, In Florida especially, people like you are very much needed because it's full of retirees, but they don't have enough middle-aged people from 30 to 55, 60 who actually want to take up the jobs to provide services of all sorts for these retirees. Okay, there isn't. So there's a shortage of electricians, plumbers, mechanics, even government workers that understand transportation, this kind of stuff. So I would just get the heck out of California now before Lock and Letter comes. It was such an easy decision for me, Andrew, to leave California. Such an easy decision. Once I saw Florida, you going to take your home? Yeah, well, you're a homeowner, Andrew?
Yes.
How much equity you have in your home about?
I've got a lot.
Yeah, I know you do.
Least,
just give our audience an idea. 200,000, a million, how much would you say roughly?
I'd say maybe about 800,000.
Oh, man. You're sitting on a gold mine, brother. You should go look up in Hernando County. Look in Brooksville, Florida, where I live. Brooksville, Florida. Okay, type in 3-bedroom house, 4-bedroom house, whatever you want in your house. With half an acre, land, whatever you want. Look up, see how much less it costs. You can buy a house cash, all paid for. You can buy right now where I'm in Hernando County, where I'm at. You buy how many bedroom and square foot do you have in Oakland area? How big is your house?
About 2,000.
2,000 square feet, 3-bedroom. Right?
Yes, 3.
3-bedroom. You can buy that 3-bedroom place, okay, with 2 bed for about $350,000 cash. Done. And you have, based on what you say, maybe $500,000 left. $500,000 left. You could just go buy easily $400,000 of gold, silver, or Bitcoin, and the other $100,000, take your time, look for a job. I would recommend you sell your house like tomorrow, like yesterday, Andrew. Let another sucker who doesn't know and ignorant, let him buy a house and get cash out with that $800,000, and you, the truth and freedom lover, deserve to live a better life because you are using God's wisdom of using knowledge to improve your life. If more people knew about this stuff, the Federal Reserve System scam would be gone. The problem is, too many of our brothers and sisters are ignorant and they don't care to know about the truth. They say, well, I'm not interested. They roll their eyes at you. They walk away. They go watch sports, soap opera, movies, entertainment, fun, party, rather than educating themselves like you to better their lives. You better your life?
Yeah.
You'll do it. And yet who's going to pay the price? These suckers who deliberately choose to keep themselves ignorant. It was, you didn't tell them to stay ignorant. No, it wasn't your fault. 800,000, cash it out. Oh, man.
It's I know, I hear you talking about the bubble. You know, I hate for that to happen. And but then again, all that cash in the bank is also at risk as well.
Risk of what?
All that cash in the bank is a risk as well.
No,
right?
it's not. Bank. Listen, in your case, it's simple. Don't even buy a house. I would just give an example. What I would do if I was you, I would take $800,000. I would come and rent. You could rent a beautiful, gorgeous place for $3,000 a month, which is $36,000 a year. I would put that money in gold, silver, or Bitcoin, like I said. That's it. Because they're going to go up in value, not down like real estate. So I wouldn't buy a house right now. I would rent. Okay, I would get a lease for like 2-3 years type of lease. Okay, so and then with that money, gold and silver, it's going to double in the next year or 2 or 3, or 50% at least is going to go up. It has gone up quite a bit, gold and silver, and they'll continue to do that because inflation is not going to stop. So then you could wait till the market crashes, you buy at the bottom.
Yeah, sounds like a great plan. I have kids though. That's the problem, and they're kind of got roots going down here.
How old are your kids?
Yeah, it's just.
How old are your kids?
Well, they're older. They're in the mid-20s.
Well, look, it's up to you. I one reason I came to Florida, I left California because of my children. There's no future for them in the expensive rat hole of communism of California. They cannot buy a home there in California. You after all these years, you could get a house like that because you had bought it a long time ago. They don't have a future. Come for them. You bring them out here with you for a vacation. That's right. You have to bribe them with the vacation. Bring to take to SeaWorld, Disney World, Busch Gardens, all that stuff in Tampa, Orlando area. Take it a couple, 3 weeks. The beaches. They're going to see it. They're going to say, wow, Daddy, so much nicer here. Oh, yeah. They'll make new friends. You got the money. You got the power. You got your wisdom. You are the guide of your family. Do not abdicate your responsibility that God gave you as the older, wiser father, grandfather, to guide your youngsters because they're young. They don't know better. They wet around the ears. Do your job. Bring them out here, okay? That's it. I said all too much already, Andrew. It's up to you, brother. I love you and wish to see you, hopefully, especially Tampa, Orlando, Central Florida is the place to be. Not Miami. Central Florida, Tampa, Orlando area is the place I recommend. You come, find a beautiful place, and show your children that, by the way. Bring them out, do all that, and show, look, I can get this place rented for like this much, and we got this big, beautiful house. 2,000 square foot? No. I'm talking about 3,000, 4,000 square foot. What, a backyard? Oh, no, I'm talking about an acre, 2, maybe 5 acres. Oh, wow. And by the way, a pool? Yes. Nice pool. What? Oh, but I say, do you see much homeless around here? No. Crime? No. 3 o'clock in the morning, you can walk the street and feel safe? Not in Oakland area. But here you will.
No.
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, no, not in Oakland.
Not in Oakland. No, of course not. Have you been to Florida?
Oh, yeah, I've been to Florida.
Where? When?
I think I went last year. I went to a graduation party in Royal Palm Beach.
That's in southeast, right?
Yes.
For how long? With who?
Oh, with some family, relatives, cousins.
How long?
I spent about a week. I spent about a week there. And then I drove up to Ocala, looked around. It's kind of there's really not a whole lot in Ocala. Then went down to Tampa, and then I went back to Palm Beach and flew out from Fort Lauderdale.
Why did you not bring your children?
They weren't available at the time.
Okay. This time, no special occasion. Take your home equity, savings you got. Spend $10,000. $10,000. 2-3 week beautiful vacation. See the beautiful beaches of Florida, Tampa area. They are sand white and warm and beautiful warm. You can see a fish next to your feet swimming. Warm, not the crashes of the California cold water. Let them experience it, okay? You haven't really experienced it yourself, okay? Do that. That's the best investment, $10,000. I don't care what you got to do. Bring them all for 2-3 week vacation. Show them houses for rental, how much they go for, how big they are. Okay, do that right now already online. Show them this stuff, okay? And I heard Brooksville area. Look at it right now. Be a good example for you, for example, how much you can get and live like a king with the equity you have already. And you're going to get a job out here, too. With the experience you got, I'm sure you get a job, no problem, with transportation. Okay. Any other questions online? Let's put the number on the screen. Thanks for calling, Andrew. I appreciate you, brother. You know, fellow Californian, hopefully to be ex-Californian very soon with his children who have a future outside of that communist state. The number to call if you have a question is 424-552-1299 and press 1. I'll take your questions one person at a time. Again, the number is 424-552-1299 and press 1. All right? So the next call, do you have anybody with calls? Or we got to go to questions online, perhaps? Okay, so we have Candace, was that Candace Strip, right? Candace Smith P. Question concerning W-4, 26 U.S.C. 3402, paragraph N. When you sign a W-4, do you voluntarily identify yourself as a federal employee? No. Does Chapter 24 determine how federal income tax is withheld? 2 questions. Okay. Inside the federal system, they seem to try to make W-4 a bridge of jurisdiction that forces you into the federal system. If you guys turn the clock off, guys, system. Inside the system, exemption is a privilege. Outside of the system, freedom is. This system talk you heard online and a privilege, all that stuff is a bunch of nonsense, my friend. So I'm going to tell you that. It's got nothing with anything. Okay? It's got nothing with anything. There's no privilege involved. They don't tax you as somehow you suckered yourself to be a privilege. No, it's nothing like that. They deceive your employer to steal your money, give it to the IRS. You have to file a confession 1040 form to get some of that breadcrumbs back. That's all it is. Okay? So that's where you do all this because your employer has been deceived to force you with a gun to your head. W-4 signed it, or will I not hire you? That's how that works, okay? All right. Any other questions? We have nobody calling in right now. Let's see any more questions online, guys. Otherwise, you can call it for the night. And you guys join the 2026 like it's 1776. Time for a peaceful, not revolution, but restoration of our republic. Okay? All right. Let's see. No other questions online, guys? Anything else? We're good? All right. Okay. Well, guys and gals, thank you for being with me. I love you all. And I invite you, know this. It was no accident that you came across Freedom Law School. You were meant to be free. You were meant to live free. You were looking for freedom, and you found it at our website, freedomlawschool.org. On your smartphone, go to on our front page, the 7 steps to free yourself of the IRS. Listen to those videos as you drive to and from work. At lunch and dinner, play it again, the video. This time, watch it also. Understand it. And you'll be free. You'll be free for the rest of your life. Because it's a true thing. The Bible says it, but it's common sense. Seek the truth, and the truth shall set you free. At freedomlawschool.org. Good night.